Welcome to Module 2, Video 2 of the Lead Quizzes Facebook Comprehensive Guide. In this video, we're going to dive right into the Lead Quizzes software and actually set up a quiz. So we're going to show you guys how to create a quiz, segment your leads, design your outcomes, and write your questions. Let's go ahead and jump into the software. When you first log into the software, you're going to see something similar to this, but you might not have any quizzes created just yet. Don't worry though, because I'm going to show you that in just a second. So the first thing I want to do is click this green button over here that says Create New Quiz. So go ahead and click that. And you'll have two options. So you can start building a quiz from scratch, so start a new quiz, or select from a template. In this case, I'm going to show you guys the template because you build a custom quiz the same exact way that a template is set up, so you'll be able to see all of the steps. So I'll go ahead and select from template. Now we have 5 different industries that you can go ahead and select from. So let's go ahead and choose this adrenal fatigue one. So we'll go ahead and use that quiz. Now the first page that you're going to see is going to be the quiz start page or the configure page. So this is where you're going to name your quiz so you can see and remember it in the Lead Quizzes dashboard. You can go ahead and choose a quiz image, change the title and the quiz description. Now, very important on this page are these two options here with those green toggles. So we have social sharing, which means being able to share the quiz with a click of a button on Twitter or Facebook. And we have the start page. So you can actually turn off the start page and use a custom start page if you want. Now, the next most important thing on this page you're going to see is integrations here. So if you remember in the previous video, I showed you guys all those different integrations that you can connect with Lead Quizzes, and we actually connected MailChimp. So we're going to go ahead and select MailChimp from the dropdown. And then it's going to say no segmentation selected. That's because we need to tell Lead Quizzes where to send the information in MailChimp. You can't just send it to MailChimp and then expect MailChimp to know what to do with it. So we're going to go ahead and click that. And it's going to bring up a list of all of the different lists that we have in MailChimp. So go ahead and select the one that you want people to go to. And then once you're done, hit save and create outcomes. Now the outcomes are something that you typically want to create before thinking about your questions, because it's important to know what is the end goal. Where do I want to send people and how is that going to fit in with the questions I'm asking? So in this case of this quiz, the adrenal quiz, we have 3 different outcomes. So we have 1, you're negative for adrenal fatigue. 2, your adrenal function is moderate. And 3, you're positive for adrenal fatigue. If you click on one of these outcomes, or if you were to create a new one, it's going to be the same process. So you choose an outcome title, which is going to be the first thing that people see. Decide on the type of outcome that you're going to use. So you can either use the outcome builder like you see here, or you can use a redirect URL. The redirect URL is basically a custom URL that you've created that you want to send people to immediately after they opt in. Now, in order to see a preview of what this looks like before your quiz goes live, just click this little arrow right here, and you'll see a live preview of what it looks like. So those are the social share buttons that I was talking to you about, and then that's the way that you can design it. Something else that you can do in the quiz software is add different images or different styled buttons that you want to have. So something that I like to do is I would like to have a button that I actually add in the results. So I'm going to go ahead and insert an image here. So I'm going to go ahead and I have some that I created in Canva, which I'll be showing you guys in a later video. Go ahead and hit OK. Now I always keep the size exactly what it says and then size it down in the software. So you can actually size it down here so it's not so large. And then we can go ahead and change the alignment there. And then I can actually link that image to our URL if I just highlight the image and then select the URL by using this little function right up there. Now what this will look like, go ahead and see, is like that. So it's a really good way for you to add in additional call to actions. You can also change the size of the fonts. Like as you can see here, we created a new headline in there. So lots of different things you can play around with and test in the Outcomes Builder. Now, once you have your outcomes set, it's time to look into the questions and how the questions you're going to ask are going to match with the outcomes. So once you have these set, just hit save and create questions, and you'll be taken over to the question section. Something that I always get asked is, how many questions should my quiz be? Really great question. We've seen in the last 2.5 years that we've been running quizzes, and over 300 quizzes that we've been running now, 8 to 12 questions is really the sweet spot. And there's a couple of reasons for that. First, if you're less than 8 questions, quiz takers are going to think that you aren't providing very much value. It's just something about that sweet spot. If we had less than 8, we just saw a really huge drop off. And then the same thing if you have more than 12 questions, then the quiz is starting to get a little lengthy and people don't want to commit that much time to it. So you really want to have the quiz be able to be completed in 1 to 2 minutes. That's really what I like to see there. And then the number of answers that you give, another question I get, I try and keep it between 2 and 4 answers, because you want it to be easy for them to answer that question and move on to the next one. You don't want to have any one question that stumps them. So also, when creating the question, it's really important to not make them situational based. You want them to be generalized questions that anyone can answer. They don't have to think about putting themselves in a situation at all. For example, this question, do you crave sweets? So very simple, to the point, and we have 3 different answers that they can give. Often or always, sometimes, seldom, or never. Now you'll see these green little checks right here, and that actually tells us what that answer should link to in terms of the outcome. So if we click on it here, you'll see you have a list of the outcomes, and you could select which outcome you want that answer to match up with. Now you'll also notice that there's a drop down here for answer type. And you can also do an image or a text answer. So we can go ahead and select image or text answer. We'll change the type, and then you would just click this right there and select an image. So I actually created some image-based ones earlier today. So we'll go ahead and do that. And you can also add text here as well. So you can say often or always right in there as well. And then here's a little preview of what that'll look like. So a couple of different ways that you can create question answers. And I recommend that you test both styles, because you might find that one works better for your industry than another does. So go ahead and complete this. Now, just like if you were creating a quiz from scratch, these are no longer going to be linked. So what you need to do is actually link those answers over to the outcomes. And if you don't do that, then you'll get a message saying that some of your questions answers are not mapped. So you want to make this where it's that green check, and you do that just by clicking the little map there and then selecting. And you'll want to do that for all of the questions. And you can see a preview of what it looks like right there. Now we'll go ahead and save that question. Now going back to the text answers, here's the difference of how those look, just so you guys know. Now something else that I want to point out to you guys that we didn't already in the outcome section, so we'll head back over to the outcome section, is how you can further segment your leads. So we already set up the first segmentation with MailChimp on this first page here. So we want everyone that takes the quiz to go to the list SJ New. Now you can segment even further by having people that get a specific outcome to go to a specific quiz. And to do that, you just go to the outcome section here, click on the outcome, and then this little box here, this little drop down says apply segmentation, no segmentation selected. Just select the other list that you would like them added to and hit save. So now if somebody takes the quiz and they get that you're negative for adrenal fatigue outcome, they're going to get 2 segments applied to them. So the main list, which is everyone who takes the quiz, and then a list that's just for the negative for adrenal fatigue results. So there you have it, guys, some information on how to just get started creating your first quiz. In the next video, I'm going to show you guys how to create an offer and how to capture your leads information.